Wasn't banned or anything. Honestly, I was feeling very sick since Monday. Monday I was like really, really, really sick. It took a lot out of me. Like it's been a long time since I've been that sick. I don't know what happened, but Tuesday I started feeling better. Wednesday still was pretty achy. Thursday I felt like I was getting on track. I just didn't feel like doing any camera stuff for a bit. So I was like, I'm gonna stay away from the camera for a bit. It was kind of my main thing. I'm just gonna stay behind the scenes and remix a few videos that I've done already and that sort of things, pre-recorded reviews, and put them on the internet and stuff. But yeah, no, it's pretty good. Just decided to come up here to where I'm at the park, and yeah, just kind of set up the show here today. And I think this is a pretty good spot. I like it up here, mainly because not a lot of people go up here. It's a pretty barren area. I think people probably see me and they're like, nope, like evacuate the dance floor. But no, overall, we're talking a little bit more about what we talk about most in this show, mainly investing. But I wanted to talk about and say I'm sorry I have not made a live video in since Monday. No, not even Monday. I didn't even make a video all week. I don't even think I pre-recorded anything either. I've just been putting out short videos and stuff like that. That's just I really haven't felt that bad in a long time. What I did was I was still working and stuff like that, except for Monday. Monday was really bad. Like Monday, I was like, I don't like to call out when I'm sick, but that was an exception to the rule. I had to. But no, it's good to be back, though. It's good to be able to talk with you guys. And let me put a poll out. Let me put a poll. Let's see. We'll start a poll. Let's see. We'll talk about the Glycerin 22s here in a second. Well, actually, I'm trying to think of a good one here. A good question. Maybe something more broad, I think. That's a good question, by the way. I'm not going to tell you guys. I get it up here. And I'm going to do my boy hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm going to add one more option to this. You guys are ready for this poll, right? Skeet. All right, so we got a poll going. Trying to figure out who my audience runs away from the most. Who do you run? Oh, I can't think today. Who do you run away from the most? Chris Hansen, Alex Rosen, Skeeter Jensen. Who do you run away from the most? This is what the poll is asking. And it's a good poll. I think it's a fair poll. And we all want to know the question. Okay. Skeeter Jensen. All right. It's the first one. So, yeah. So the reason I have a topic about running, who do you run away from the most, is because I recently purchased Glycerin 22s, Brooks Glycerin 22s. They're very incredible, by the way. Very good feeling shoe, good running shoe. And look, I love running shoes. I've been a running shoe guy most of my life. I got to see if my scrub daddy's still down here. Hold on. I might have left my scrub daddy down here last time, one of my scrub daddies. So let me make sure. All right. Okay, it's time to be skeeting. So we got one vote. Who do you run away from the most? Skeeter Jensen, aka Skeet Hansen. That's the only person who's voted so far. I think I would assume that most of my audience is typically running away from Alex Rosen, majority of the time. But I think most of you guys run away from Chris Hansen. I don't know. My instincts tell me Alex Rosen, but my heart, my soul, my mind, the logical side of my brain says that you guys run away from Chris Hansen the most. I think most of you guys do. So, Glycerin 22, look, if you guys want to run away from Chris Hansen, Skeet Hansen, Alex Rosen, if you guys are trying to run away from the law, I'm not saying you should, by the way. This is all hypothetical scenario, and I know that you guys are all law-abiding citizens, but hypothetically speaking, the Glycerin 22s allow you to run fast. Maybe not Sonic the Hedgehog fast. I cannot guarantee those speeds. But I can say, you'll go fast. You'll go freaking fast. But yeah, I'm feeling so much better than I did Monday. Like I said, it took everything out of me. Like, that was the worst sickness. And I don't like to talk about that stuff very often, but that was really bad. That was rough. Oh yeah, I also I thought of a new intro for let's see. Maria says give up. Well, all right, Maria, I will give up. Let's see. Buttermilk biscuits says pooping. I run away from myself. So Maria says give up. Maria, I will. I refuse to surrender. I'm not French, so I won't surrender. But that's okay, Maria. That's okay. You can tell me to give up. But I will continue to show my bussy. So everybody can feel like they got a mussy. Alright? But who do you run away from the most? It's a 50-50 split right now. 2 votes between Chris Hansen and Skeet Hansen. That's hilarious, by the way. But yeah, no, the new tagline for the show is I am cool. Hello, this is the Michael Garza show. I am cool, and people respect me. Neither of those are true, by the way. But it would be funny, though, as an ironic thing, to do that sort of thing. I know I'm very much like the Logan Paul of YouTube. I've grown to accept that. People hate watch me more than anything. And I'm okay with that, by the way. I'm okay with being the Logan Paul, except for I am in a forest right now, and I swear to God, if I do see a guy hang himself, that's going to be scary. But, you know, I'm in a pretty good spot in the park. I love it out here. This is fantastic, man. Jake Cronenberg says, how do you use the card for your fly and get it to the store, or the other ones that are not available in the prime place in those? What are you talking about, Jake? What are you talking about, bro? Man in the box says, brother, where's your wrestling? I don't know, man. But that's the new tagline for the show. I am cool, and people respect me. It's funny because that would get shot down so fast. Oh, man, I know from half the commenters that nobody respects me. I think it's because I'm too contrarian, because it is insane to go against the grain. However, it has paid off. Going against the grain has ultimately paid off because when you're right, you're right. And let's see. Brother, we need to send you 2 to 3 years Dagestan and forget what? I don't know, man. I don't really care. I'm betting against Bitcoin. I'm betting against all you grifters, just to let you know. I don't want you guys to lose money, but, you know, I got to bet against the thing that has intrinsic value of 0. I'm going to be kinder, by the way. I kind of had a bit of an epiphany. When I was feeling really shitty, that I think I've treated a lot of people, some maybe who have deserved it, granted, but I haven't been the nicest to some of you guys, and I need to be nicer. And because I'm not really that spiteful, you know, I try not to be, at least. And I've been doing a lot of videos that I think have not been in my wheelhouse. You know, whenever I rant about my supervisors, for instance, they're not gonna change, and I need to be I just need to be smart, you know. Man in the box says, brother, just stay humble. Oh yeah, as humble as possible, humble as humble pie. But yeah, no, that's kind of the thing, man. I need to apologize because, like, I do diss Bitcoin. I'm not going to apologize about that part. But I've been kind of a dick to the Bitcoin bros, and I just got to admit that you guys, you know, first off, I'm only going to make you guys either depressed or double down on your mistake by being the way I am towards you guys. And I need to stop that. I need to be nicer. And it just feels wrong to be mean or agitated, I guess. I just don't like being angry. And I don't like being angry towards others. I like being sarcastic, of course. That's very fun. But, you know, I do try to come from a good place with every video I do. And so I will say, if I've made people feel bad, really, really bad, I do apologize sincerely. Don't like that, you know. And I've had a lot of issues with, you know, obviously I've aired out my grievances and stuff, you know, with my supervisors on this channel. And yeah, I'm still not a big fan of them. But I gotta stop hating them, man. Hating them does no good for anybody. Nobody. So that's the thing. But yeah, so I think I just need to be nicer. I think is what it really boils down to at the end of the day. So that's kind of what I wanted to say. I'll still do live videos and stuff, and I'll still trash on concepts that I think are bad, but I'm gonna go a little easier on you guys about your beliefs and stuff. I know I go really like ape shit on you Bitcoin bros, but Quinn says, I just farted. Can you smell what the rock is cooking? Thank goodness I can. But yeah, I just, you know, I just kind of was like thinking to myself, I was like, I've not been the nicest. And a lot of things. The hatred that I've been feeling has been turning me into an agitated mess, quite frankly. And that's. I'm not proud of that. I'm not. I think it's awful, to say the least. But I got really emotional the other day because I was thinking about it. It's just like, when did I become this hateful? You know, I used to be such a fun-loving person, and then I've just, grown into this pile of hate. It started with me openly hating my bosses, and I realized that they're just gonna win in the end if I turn into a big ball of hate, or if I turn into a person who seeks any form of, I don't know, penance or whatever the term is. I still don't like them. I still don't trust them. But I'm not going to. I need to think about other things. You know, and the hatred. Sometimes when you have the level of hatred in your soul, and it's there, and you just, I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but if you have a certain level of hatred, it just kind of comes out, and it permeates, and it reaches into your thoughts. It makes you feel like a terrible person, and it makes you act like a terrible person. Maybe not completely, but it was making me where I was in a weird way lashing out, getting pissed, and it's not good. It's not good. So I'm still going to. There are things I still dislike. Obviously there's still concepts that I think are bad, but I'm going to try to focus on more solution-based stuff towards, I think, a lot of the problems in society. I mean, in my investments that I talk about, when I talk about like Bitcoin being stupid, Quinn McLogan says this is a weird channel. It absolutely is. It's a variety channel, without a doubt. It's a variety channel. I'm proud of it. Very proud of it. Quinn says, can you tell a joke or a funny story? Well, there was a young lady from Venus whose body was shaped like a penis. Quinn McLogan says it's very depressing. Well, Quinn, look, sometimes life, just going to tell you this, it can get a little depressing. And sometimes a little reality is a good thing. Maybe, I look, Quinn, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Life can get a little weird. And sometimes it's, if you feel like you've wronged people or been kind of mean, it's good to at least admit it. This isn't funny, I know. And usually this show is a lot more hilarious. Just realized there's a lot of writing on this. A lot of writing on this bench. Interesting. But yeah, no, it can be a little depressing. But yeah, if you feel like you've just been, not the nicest person, it's a tough one, man. And I just feel like I could do a little bit better. Let's see here. But overall, let's see, we got 7 viewers right now. Nice. Sorry, I was hearing some music being played down there. Nice. It's all good, but yeah, no, it's a little bit. Look, this show is not always going to be a consistent funny. And if you want a consistent funny, I do apologize. But sometimes a little bit of dose of reality, I think, is a good thing, and I needed it. I didn't like. I realized that I had been such a ball of hate, and it wasn't doing me any good. It wasn't doing anybody in my life any good. But today, it was the first time I actually felt a little better. You know, I felt like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders once I could admit that I want to be a little more of a loving person. You know, I mean, I used to be, and then people turn. Sometimes people turn into things that they just don't expect, and then they just want to go back to who they really are, if that makes sense. So yeah, I just want to go back to the way I felt before, where I was actually happy and nicer. I can still be funny, right? I'm still the person that I was before on this channel is still there, and in life is still there. But I needed to go back to a place where I could feel right again. So I'm just going to say it feels good to be back here with you guys and being able to talk about the things that I enjoy talking about with people I think that are pretty dope. So I got my little handy dandy notebook here, and we'll talk about a few things. We'll talk about so the Glycerin 22s. I will say I walked here, and the Glycerin 22s are a solid flippin' choice as a shoe. I do have an affiliate link in the description below. If you do click the link, I earn from qualifying purchases. So check out the link. If you have to, you can copy the link. So like in the description, you can like actually highlight it, copy it, and then paste it into the web browser. But there is a link in the description below, and or wherever the description is on this thing. Oh. Well. Huh. Yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to do this show where I'm at this moment at this bench, but it's a good spot, man. This is actually one of my favorite spots to do a live show because, you know, this is kind of another office for me. It allows me to kind of think about, you know, more investing and stuff like that. But it's nice to finally have really, really good shoes again. My Glycerin 19s, by the way, fabulous shoe. But I'd had them for like a year and a half. And I kind of alternated between my New Balance ones and those ones. These are like a huge upgrade. So it's funny. The Glycerin 19 all the way to the Glycerin 22. It's a bit. I never tried the in betweens of those, but these Glycerin 22s are honestly a very impressive shoe. They feel pretty snug. They get the job done. And honestly, I can't see myself wanting another shoe beyond this. By the way, make sure you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel. The more simps we have, the better. So like the video, and if you can, subscribe to the channel. I say subscribe because it's more fun that way. But if you guys can like the video, like this stream, that'll do me well. But yeah, the park is an interesting place to hang out. Let's see. Chris Martinez says smegma in my Labubu matcha latte. Can you just like the video, please, and stop talking about Labubus? Just like the stream and stop talking about Labubus. If you want to talk about Labubus, you can. I'm so scared of Labubus. I saw Labubu, and it was kind of when I probably realized I needed to turn my life around. Labubu, at least stop being such a hate-filled person. I gotta stop hating shit, or at least, you know, I got, even though I've been focusing on the right stuff, I gotta focus. But if you're focusing on the right stuff and you're still also focusing on stupid shit like hating too many things, I think you can't hate too many things. You gotta reduce the amount that you hate to the best of your ability. That matters. At least it matters to me. Labubu. So I guess the question is Labubu or Lafufu. So the Lafufus are like the Labubus or whatever the fuck. I don't understand this craze. Can somebody please explain to me why Labubus matter? What are Labubu? Like, I've seen Labubus, but what does it all mean? Did it get big because people just got nothing better to do with their lives? Is that it? I mean that with sincerity. Hopefully people can do something with it. But yeah, I've still I'm trying to understand the whole fad itself. It's very confusing. Very hilarious though. I will say. But of course, this channel is still very much so. We're still an anti-Bitcoin channel. But we're going to obviously offer more solutions. That's the most important thing. So while we talk about Bitcoin being a net negative to society, and I firmly believe it is, and I think that, look, if you want to own that stuff, that is up to you. But remember, there are risks. And I'm not going to call you dummies. I'm not going to call you the dumb money anymore. I still think it's a bad investment. I don't think it's a real investment. But, yep. So, the alternative, so people ask me, like, well, Bitcoin's bad money, then what is good money? Well, stocks. I think assets are good money at this point. Because the dollar is not money anymore because it's not backed by gold or silver or anything, really. So the dollar's worthless. Bitcoin's worthless as well. Whether there's a limited supply of Bitcoin or not, the scarcity was implanted into the program itself. So in a lot of ways, the scarcity doesn't mean anything. Also, the software itself is duplicatable, and what that means is, if I want, I can create my own Michael Garza Bitcoin, right? My own network. I could call it maybe like, well, Fartcoin already exists, but maybe I can make Ponzi coin, right? I could take the Bitcoin software, because it's all open source, right? So you could take that open source software, and then you can create your own altcoin and call it whatever you want, and then just release a white paper on it and saying how it'll change the world and how stupid it really is, but you need to buy it anyway, that sort of thing. And then you just release it, and then people, if they choose to, can mine it as well. So the problem I have with Bitcoin is that there may be a finite supply of it, but there is an infinite supply of competitors to Bitcoin. Let's see. Yager's Farm says, this house feels so cold every time he goes away. There's really nothing to do about the rain. It always rains on Saturdays. Well, damn. I don't know where that's from, Mr. Yagers, but that's actually kind of beautiful, man. It's pretty damn beautiful, actually. No, I appreciate that. But that's funny. We're just talking about everything, really. We're talking about the Labubus, the Lafufus. We're talking about. I kind of feel like I've just been kind of a ball of hate, and I haven't liked it at all. I started noticing it when I was starting to really hate my supervisor. Oh. And I felt like at the even though the hate I still feel was justified, it wasn't necessary. And what do I mean by that? It wasn't necessary for my health. I felt it was necessary at the time because she's just, but I won't go into it because you already guys mostly know the story. And I choose not. I'm trying to not be so hateful towards people, even if I like people who even if I feel like they deserve it. That's a tough one. That could be tough because that could be very easy. Yager says it's me thinking out loud. It's been a while since I've heard from you, man. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've been live streamed. I mean, I've been putting out short videos and stuff. Let's see. Yager's asked, "What's the topic?" Let's see. Garza, we don't ever hate. God doesn't like the ugly. Doesn't like ugly. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. When I felt like I was hating a little too much, when I just wasn't feeling as good as I normally could, I felt disgusting inside. As I'm usually not that mad, and at the end of the day, that is just not who I am. And if you're not being true to yourself, you're just lying. But so we got a 50-50 split, by the way. The question in the poll is, who do you run away from the most? I'm tired. 50% of you say Chris Hansen. 50% of you say Skeeter Jensen, aka Skeet Hansen. Yager says hate is also natural to feel. I'm having black. Oh, I don't know if I could say that without YouTube being annoying about it, but I know I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think it's okay to not tolerate things in your life, and sometimes the best, if you find something is intolerable, you do your best to avoid it. Try not to put too much hateful energy towards it, because it just ends up biting you back psychologically. I think some people are more designed maybe to be hateful, and I'm just not. It doesn't sit well with me. Even if I do nothing wrong at the end of the day, even if I'm just hating, it hurts. Oh, I guess I don't like it. Yagers said, "I'm also having YouTube fatigue." Absolutely, man. Sometimes it's tough. As much as I like YouTube, man, it is the main platform that I go on when it comes to my consumption of entertainment. So that's where it gets very, very interesting, and I enjoy consuming content on YouTube, but at the end of the day, Yager says, let's see, just remember some birches think they are all that in a bag of chips. Jackson Charlie 2 says, God, hell yeah. Yeah. But yeah, sometimes I think it's good to kind of, when it comes to I even try to go on an entertainment detox, because I like to sometimes sit alone in my room with my own thoughts. I try not to be on my phone. I'm trying to read a little bit more for information, not for entertainment. Although I do find reading for information to be entertaining, so but trying to play more sports, like play basketball a little bit more. I've been trying to write a little bit more, write for the show. Let's see, 50. There was an idea I came up with the other day: 50 Shades of blank. So there would be the theme for some of the live streams, because I think, even though I've never actually watched the full movie or read any of the books, I love the 50 Shades of Grey series. Ironically, I guess you could say. And I do like also quoting Twilight as well. Let's see. Jackson says God with a certain type of emoji that I'm not entirely sure of. I still don't know. So, are you afraid of snakes? Is what Jackson's asking. Yeah, snakes do kind of scare me. Although I kind of look like a snake, so I don't know. I'm afraid of my own kind. But let's see here. Let's see. Yoggers is saying, I'm sitting here in my recliner watching American Horror Story, eating cinnamon jawbreakers, butterscotch, candies. Heck yeah, dude. What a beast, dude. Get it. That's the way to do it. I realize it's almost like 7 o'clock. Jeez. 9:02 where you're at. Yeah, you're on Central Time. That's right. I'm on the Pacific Standard Time. I'm on the coast of Oregon. You know, I haven't seen on here Mr. Jim in a while is Mr. Donaldson. I haven't seen our boy Mr. Donaldson in a while. I hope he's doing all right. Like, I mean, he pops in on occasion. I do love it when Mr. Donaldson pops in. Let's see, and then 9:02 here. So Yoggers is saying AI went to Colorado for 4 days. Pueblo and the Denver Zoo. Hell yeah, dude! What a beast. What a salve, dude. Sounds like a good time. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. But yeah, man, I just kind of wanted to do this live because I was like, well, I wanted to be honest with why I haven't been doing live videos in a while, and I think I needed a break from doing YouTube for a bit, at least being on camera, you know what I mean? Because I do this a lot, and I didn't realize, it's not a hard job to do, but it is surprisingly mentally taxing having to come up with new topics and new things to talk about. Because it's like, my investing philosophy is so bloody simple. There's nothing crazy about my philosophy except for that I love dividends. I love being super diversified, and love playing basketball. I mean, this show is so simple. So I do try to broaden out the topics a little bit, I do try to do comparisons of what's an asset, what isn't an asset, and I believe that, like, what's not an asset is, Bitcoin is not an asset, but stocks are an asset, and I think they're a very good one. They're a very good one, and you can get diversified very quickly. All you have to do, exchange traded funds, baby. Buy one share of each one that you like, or buy a ton of shares of one that you like, as long as they're index based and as long as they got low expense ratios. Not financial advice, but talk to a financial advisor. Stay smart about it. Yager says, I've seen so many. Yeah, I will admit, here in Coos Bay, there's definitely a lot of. It's like a big drug problem that we got here, and it's been something, I'll tell you. It's yeah, and a lot of drug use and a lot of poverty. What it all boils down to is a lot of it tends to happen. We all tend to think that a lot of them are drug addicts, but a lot of them don't start out that way. A lot of them start out with maybe. I think I started to realize this a little bit more because I'd been even hating on sometimes homeless people who are drugged out, at least, and even the ones that are drugged out, like I'm not gonna obviously, I feel bad. Like, I know there's nothing. I know I shouldn't feel guilty because there's nothing I did to make them do that. At least I hope not. But I think it's just tough because you see these people suffering, and you know there's just not a damn thing you can do about it. You know, you might be able to give them a kind smile, some food, and that helps. That's always kind of nice, but at the end of the day, you also start thinking about, like, just hope they're doing okay, you know? Um, but yeah, I think the best way is, I think we're looking towards politics, and we need to look towards, to solve problems. I think, obviously, government doesn't solve any problems, it only creates them. So I do think we need to start turning towards, I think capitalism is the way. I really do. I think honest charities um, are a good thing. I think if most people stopped spending money on frivolous things they didn't need and started donating to charities more often, that would matter. That would actually matter a lot. We would be able to, we the people would be able to outdo our bloated federal government. Kaishore Pulley says hi, hello. Yager says we need to do podcast tech. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Podcasts are fun. I don't think they're going to solve the world's problems, but Road to Silver 5 says, if this guy did a workout challenge for 6 months, I'd watch it. That would be fun. That would honestly be very fun. I could do maybe the Glycerin 22 one. You know what I mean? I could do, this is technically Glycerin 22 day 1. They're very good shoes, by the way. Like, I became a huge Brooks fan after I tried on the Glycerin 19s about a year and a half ago. I got them for about $100, but I'm glad I ended up paying $160 for these ones. These are newer. The 21s that they had, I didn't like the style and design. I wanted something a little more professional, so I did end up paying like $160 for this pair. But honestly, it's worth it, man. It's very well worth it. And see, Road to Silver 5 says just to see the transformation. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Road to Silver 5 says I do it too, man. I'm fat as well. Here's the thing, man. I'm not that fat. Like, I got a gut, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't take me long to lose weight. Like, that's one of those things. I bloat out pretty easily. But Yager says, podcasts keep us from being canceled. Abso-freaking-lutely. I do have my Spotify one. And the Spotify one surprisingly makes me a little bit of money every now and then, which is shocking. Oh, I am exhausted. Well, I am actually surprisingly exhausted right now, but we need more Lafufus and we need more Labubus. That's what I'm saying. Labubu. Lapupu. You guys gotta get me more Lafufus as well. How do I get more Lafufus? That's all right, man. You know, I mean, not gonna lie, I got a bit of a gut on me for sure. But yeah, one of the ways that I've been losing weight though is rice. Shockingly, rice. Rice is awesome. Rice is also hyper affordable, which is one of the things that I realize is like I love bread. Don't get me wrong, but rice is a good alternative. Like if you're looking for Road to Silver says rice is full of sugar. It's full of carbohydrates, but it's way better than honestly. But I love it. Helps everything go down pretty smoothly. It absorbs a lot of shit in my stomach. So I don't know, man. The rice has been helping a bit. You know, I'm not like hyper thin, obviously, but like I feel like I've been losing a little weight in the face. And I have not been eating that much lately. You know, I had a burrito yesterday, but a little bit of Taco Bell breakfast this morning, so probably didn't help me out. Road to Silver 5 says have a all right. I'll tell you what. I won't make any promises, but I'll tell you this. I might be able to do maybe some cool workout videos or something. Maybe I'll do like, you know, I got my little pull-up bar, which I can also use as a push-up bar. I might try to do some push-ups in front of you guys. Maybe try to get you guys pumped, you know. But, you know, I mean, one thing I do like to do my, I got one of those little yoga balls that I use as a chair. So that helps out a lot. It helps me with my abs quite a bit. Yeah, overall, solid stuff. Yeah. Yager says school starting back. Pretty sure a lot of your audience would probably be down for two. Well, I will say that they do make some heavy. So Yagers, by the way, they do make some sturdy yoga balls do exist. By the way, so even if you're fairly overweight, they have some that have like let's see, 380. I mean, I'm roughly about like 260, I think, at the moment. If I were to like estimate, I think about 260. I've actually cut back some weight, for sure. But yeah. I'm loving these new shoes. Like they're really just like I feel good. I feel like I needed these. Um, See, Yager says we all need to check in every week at this time to give an update on weight. Let's do this. I actually don't have a scale in my home, so I guess that we could do the visual test, you know? Um, yeah, I actually don't have a scale at my home, but that's okay. Yager says I'm 6'3". I've already had a heart attack. Well, here's the thing, man. You know, whatever exercise your doctor recommends would probably be the best way to go overall. Yagers, have you talked to your doctor, man, about like the types of the best exercises for you, man? Yager says ghost. I will say this though, if I notably look like I've lost weight, that's a good thing. And I think that's kind of the key. If I look like I've notably transformed, I think that's the goal. You know, you can only do so much counting calories and stuff like that. But I will say what I consume does matter. My level of motion, my level of activity does matter too. Just gotta take it from there. It is getting a little bit late out here. I should probably head home because the mosquitoes are gonna come out here pretty soon. Let's see. Yoggers is saying I'm a grown. Okay, so let's see. Road to Silver says, yeah, you might have to go a little light on the exercise and focus mostly on diet. And honestly, losing weight is 80% diet and 20% exercise. I can't agree with you more, man. I'll tell you, when I do cut out certain things out of my diet, for instance, I haven't drank a regular soda in a long time. So I've actually, for instance, I had diet root beer. I've been having, although I got to admit, I do have sugar from, I have like Tang, which is tight. I do occasionally like having lemonade. But I do try to stay away from the high fructose corn syrup overall. Yeah, I've been doing a little more on the dieting front, really trying. And the results have proven pretty impressive. I'm very impressed. So like, I'm still, obviously I still got my baby fat here and stuff like that. Like, you can see that, like, I got, but the fat, I feel like it's draining from my face. But your diet's a good thing, man. Yeah, and getting the ass off the recliner is half the battle. Look, I will say this. For me personally, and this is a philosophy that not everybody agrees with, but we live in a day and age, and I was talking to my girlfriend about this, and I was kind of talking about how, like, it seems like everybody needs all this motivation, right, to do stuff. Well, I think that the thing is that the act itself should be the motivator. Like, I think the problem is we programmed ourselves to think that walking and running is such a chore, when we should look at it as the saving grace. Like, when I think about walking, I get excited. I almost get sexually stimulated. And is it the right response or the wrong response? Who the fuck knows? It's my response, though. And I think we can control how we perceive things. And if you weigh out the benefits of walking, like walking and running and a good diet, if you like list down all the good stuff that comes about that, then you start not needing the motivation at all. What you start seeing, the action itself is the motivation. You start seeing the act of walking, the act of running, the act of eating better. That's the motivation. That the action itself is the motivator. Wow. That's a good thing for me. I'm motivated. That's what I'm looking for. I want to get out of bed to do that. That's the result, is the action, right? The action is the result. Let's make it happen. That's actually kind of motivational. The action is the result. I got to remember that. The action is the result. So, and then once you start, it's pretty tough to stop. As the old saying goes, an object in motion continues to stay in motion. Motivation is fleeting, though. It's about discipline. Working out when you're not motivated is the hardest part. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you have goals, it helps, But I will say that the goal should be the action itself, Just walk, just run. I mean, it sounds simple, but it is. And I think that the action itself should be the motivator. You should be excited to want to do the action that you have to do to get healthy. Let's see. Yager says, I have plenty of workout here to do at the ranch. Oh, nice. Takes about 3 months to form a good habit. It only takes 2 weeks to lose a good habit. Ooh. So, interesting. 3 months to form a good habit. All right. Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, we are human beings for the most part are creatures of habit, and that's a good thing, and it can be a bad thing, um, depending. And everything's sometimes a double-edged sword. It's how you use it, you know. So how do we use our habitual and addictive nature? Well, I choose to be habitual. I try to form habits that are positive towards me being a human being, right? You know, is it a net positive what I'm doing? Sure, I think it's a good thing. But but when it comes to like things that addiction, what are you addicted to is the biggest question. You know, a lot of people are afraid to get addicted to things because they're afraid they're going to get addicted to other things. But it's like, look, if you already have an addictive personality, just accept it and start getting addicted to good things. That's my only motto. Let's see. Yager says, "Did you see what I wrote about my meals today?" No, I don't think I saw that. No. Road to Silver says, "Yeah, it's a bit much to be." Oh, here we go. Okay, Yager. I had to look back. I didn't. For some reason, I missed it. So Yager said I had 4 boiled eggs for breakfast and an order of toast. Dinner, I had barbecue chicken and bologna, fried okra, baked beans, and a slice of bread. 5 glasses of sweet tea. There might be the issue. The sweet tea. Now, look, sugar. I like sugar. Don't get me wrong. But you might need to lessen the sugar in the sweet tea. Like, if you're able to, that is, if able. I will say sugar is a big factor for my weight gain, and I do try to avoid excess sugar. I think it depends on the sources, though. For instance, rice may have a lot of carbohydrates in it, but and sugar is a form of carbohydrate as well. But I will say, I will take the calories from rice any day of the week. That's actually not bad, though. It's not. Maybe I don't know. Maybe cutting down on the sweet tea, that could be a problem. You know. So there's nothing wrong with tea itself. It's the sugar. It's the sweet tea. The tea itself is actually tea is great. Tea is very healthy for you, man. But I will say it's the added, if you add sugar to the tea, that's where you're gonna have a bit of a problem. And look, the soda pop. Look, don't get me wrong. I love Mountain Dew. I really do. Um, but they don't have a cane sugar version of it, and that really sucks. So I usually just stick to the what do I stick to? Try to stick to the diet stuff. Maybe not Diet Mountain Dew per se, but boilers. Got to boil that water, my man. Games development, good video. All right, I got to get back to games development, brother. Look forward to the future videos. I want to see some motivational sheet. That'll make me inspired to get back to work. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, man. I can't promise anything, but I will. You know, if I know there's somebody who could use me as a form of inspiration, okay, I'll try my best. But remember, you got to put down the effort as well. Look. I'm not good at promising things. I will make an effort, though. How does that sound? That's the best you're going to get out of me right now. I'll weigh it out. And I've been wanting to do more workout videos anyway, so I'm going to be doing some videos with my glycerin shoes. So you probably will see me do live videos where I may be running through a trail or walking through a trail somewhere. You're going to see me do some glycerin 22 shit. So I won't give up. I won't give up on any of you. I won't give up. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for taking the time. Hey, Road to Silver 5, get back to developing them games. And Yagers, we'll see what we could do. But Yoggers, my man, it's good to see you, bro. It was good to see you on the chat, brother. It's good to see you on the chat. I do got to get back home. I got to do a couple things. I might do a few pre-recorded videos. But, I'm going to keep doing what I do. I'll end this poll right here. But to everybody who viewed, whether you were earlier or later or whatever, thank you guys. It's fun to do these shows, and your viewership means more than you realize to me. So, catch y'all on the flip side, and peace out, man. Oh, yeah, and don't forget, make sure that you guys keep, this is something like I have to always harp on, even towards the end of the videos. Keep investing, keep spreading out your risk, keep staying smart about your investing strategies, because really the whole goal is, for the most part, to have a long-term portfolio. 80% of my portfolio in its entirety is long-term. 20% of it in its entirety is actively traded. 20%. I'm very specific about what I actively trade, by the way. And that's about it. It's a very simple strategy. But I do want to thank you guys, and hope you all have an incredible rest of the day.